And your prize prodigy looks like he's continuing on his path nicely, Mr. Doncic.
Yeah, he's doing well. His start to the season was challenging. He was one of many players that had gotten the word pretty early on that, hey, this thing wasn't going to restart until January or February. So he was, he didn't have his preparation and conditioning back home to where it needed to be when this thing started back up December 1st. And so, but he's fighting through it, I don't know when this will be out there, but last night we played in Houston and he had a 33-point triple double. So he's doing better. And, this guy is a very special player.
So I want to know, Rick, we see him on the court and he's smiling, but he's a killer. You could tell, like an absolute killer. What are his practice habits like? Like what is he like when we don't see him, but you do? Is he the same way? Is he smiling, having fun, yet very professional and also able to kind of have that killer instinct in practice?
Well, he's a competitor and his practice habits each year continue to get better and better. He's a young guy that likes to compete. So when we're doing stuff where there's, 5-on-5 competition, or we'll have some kind of a prize for winning a drill. I mean, it reminds me a lot of Jason Kidd that way. And if you come up with a drill to try to simulate something, Kidd and Doncic are guys that will figure out the best possible way to manipulate the drill to, like we had a thing one day where, you had to make at least 5 passes before you got a shot. So his adjustment to it was to throw it back and forth to the center 4 times in the backcourt. And then now we can play, and so, look, this is what great players and some of the real, savant thinkers that we've seen in the history of this game. You're talking about guys like Bird, like Magic Johnson, Jordan, was very, very similar. LeBron James, I'm sure Kobe Bryant was a lot like this too. But as time moves along, the level of growth is really there in all areas, from skill refinement to leadership on the floor in games and in practice.
You mentioned Larry. I had to get to it because of the skill set comparison, the vision, the creativity that Luka has, and now you play with Larry at his peak. Absolutely, when you came to the team, Larry was in the midst of winning 3 straight MVPs. He was at the peak of his game before his back set in and an elbow and all that stuff. So comparison in terms of what they bring to the game, what they see, what they have to offer to the game of basketball, Luka and Larry.
Yeah, many similarities. A sort of savant simplicity level of thinking, seeing things before they're going to happen. Both guys have the characteristic of at times becoming bored with the game and getting into a creative mode just to try to break up the monotony, which is a little challenging at the beginning of our season this year with the difficulty of our schedule and the fact that Luka's been catching up a little bit conditioning wise, but the great players that have the skill, that have the vision, that have the body type. And look, Larry Bird could have been a point guard in the NBA, and at 6'9", almost 6'10", he was the prototypical perfect power forward, a perfect small forward, during the entire 80s and a little bit into the 90s, and then he kind of changed over to the 4 position. But Doncic is a good 6'7", without shoes on. He is, phenomenally strong, quick, and fast. But he is big, and people that were looking at film on him from Europe and trying to judge his level of physical ability and stuff like that. We're looking at games where he's playing against the international caliber athlete, which is, a notch or two and sometimes three below NBA athletes. And so there were a lot of people that weren't convinced, but he gets anywhere he wants to on the court. And he just has the ability to make something out of nothing, which is very, very unique.